Dating during a divorce. How can men date while in a divorce?
Ideally, because I see this over and over and over again, especially with the guys getting involved with women that are in the middle of divorce or they've moved out and they're still married. It's like 99% of the time when I get emails, it's what's happened is the woman is bouncing back and forth between the husband because a lot of times there's kids involved and they're living at the husband's house. And what often happens is they're still hooking up with the husband occasionally because they don't want to split up and get a divorce. And then she's got the new guy, the boyfriend. I mean, I had a guy recently, very wealthy, successful dude. They bought a house together, and she was supposedly sleeping in the spare room. And like literally, after he closed in the house, it was the house they picked out together. She's like, "Well, I'm gonna give my marriage another chance." And so, for men, especially getting involved with women that are in the middle of the divorce or they're separated, it's like what I always say is that you want their divorce to be behind them. You want somebody who's ready, willing, able, and open to dating you. And if they're still living with their ex spouse to be, the girl has more time in with that guy, so she's more emotionally bonded and anchored to that relationship and that family versus a guy she's been dating for a few months. It's, going around saying, "Oh, my girlfriend," and talking about her like, but at the end of the day, she's still sleeping under the other guy's roof. And when I hear about it, it's because they usually go back. And the other thing is that you gotta, especially if they've been together like 10 years, there's got to be time to heal. And like we were talking about in another recent video, it's like typically it takes most people a year and a half after a breakup to completely heal and get back to a place where you feel like yourself. You don't have any emotional charges to the previous relationship. You feel like yourself again. You've kind of reconnected with your friends, your family. You got reestablished living on your own again. You took some time to heal. Maybe you went to therapy or whatever. Then that's a good situation. But every time, because, a woman who's in the middle of divorce, she's going to be hot and cold. One minute, "Oh, I love you. You're the man I've been dreaming about my whole life. It's so amazing." Next, it's, "Oh, I'm confused. I need some space. I'm not sure. My husband wants to work it out. And we were hanging out this weekend. It was Christmas or it was my son's birthday. And my husband he was just so great. And I just the thought of breaking up the family." And so the emotions are all over the place. And so women in those situations their emotions are like this. And it drives guys up a wall. And so if you're going to date, especially if you're a man, you should only date women that are done with their divorces. But life is messy. Relationships are messy, and you can't help when you meet somebody or what their situation is. But I talk about it in the book. It's like their emotions are going to be up and down and all over the place, and you should not get involved with them. And same thing with women. Women get involved with guys who are they're separated or whatever, and, "Oh, I'm going to leave my wife," or "It's not the right time." And then what happens is years go by, her personal life's on hold, while she in essence is just this dude's mistress. But yet, the guys are going on because I do phone sessions with women. The guys are going on family vacations. They're still kind of acting like a family, and he can't tell her anything, his wife anything about her because she'll get upset. It'll make the divorce messy. It'll cause drama. And so what they're basically doing is just stringing the girl along or the mistress, and they have no intention of ever, leaving their significant other. So with guys, a lot of times that are in those situations, they're typically just trying to keep the mistress and have a little fun outside the marriage, but they have no intention of leaving the wife. And for women, oftentimes they're planning on leaving, but because they still live there, they go back and forth. And not only they go back and forth with the husband, they may be going back and forth with that guy and one or two other dudes that they know. And that's just not a good situation to get involved with people like that. Now, a guy that's definitely he knows he's leaving his wife, and because I assume that was the questioner that sent this in. If you need to have your own space, your own apartment, your own house, whatever, so that way if you're bringing somebody home, you don't have the wife or ex-wife showing up. I remember when I was growing up, the woman that lived across the street, she had divorced her husband, and she was beautiful, and she slept around. And I remember one night And I was like, fucking 11 o'clock at night. You fucking whore, stay away from my husband, you homewrecker. And so there was more. This happened a few times that she was sleeping with dudes that were married and having affairs. And the woman finds out about it, finds out where she lives. And so she's showing up banging on the door, screaming and yelling at her. And it's like, you shouldn't get involved with people that aren't completely moved on. But you got if a guy's gonna move out, you got to make sure your wife's not gonna create any drama if she finds out you're dating somebody new. So you need to have your own place. And when you're ready, when you feel you're emotionally ready, you should go for it. Especially if it's a dude whose wife was cheating on him a bunch, and then maybe she left him, or maybe he finally got tired of the cheating and the lying, and he left her, and he's definitely not going back, and he wants to move on with his life. So it's really a case by case basis. But if you're going to date, I would not get involved with somebody that's their divorce isn't complete, because almost 100% of the time in those cases there's always drama. It's always a mess. They're bouncing back and forth, and it's just not fun to be in those situations. So it's best to avoid it. Hey, call me when your divorce is finalized. If I'm still single, we'll go out.